So I think I've probably made, I don't actually know how many cold calls I've made, hundreds of thousands probably. I used to have to call 200 to 300 businesses a day for like 18 months straight, if not 2 years straight. It taught me a lot about sales and stuff, but in this video I want to actually share with you my best cold call opener. Because I used cold calling to scale my first agency from $0 to $10,000 a month in 6 months. I still think it's the most effective and straightforward way to get clients, but it's not if your mindset's fucked or if you don't know what you're doing, right? So in this video, I'm going to explain exactly how to use cold calling to acquire clients. Now, before we get started, I want to actually start with a request from you. I want you to go into the comments and comment your worst cold calling experience, because cold calling is not fun for the first couple of months. You're going to suck at it and it's going to be painful and you're not going to enjoy it. But what I want people to do is, if everybody is sharing negative experiences they've had, it should make you feel more comfortable knowing that you're not supposed to be good at it to begin with, and it's normal for you to experience negative emotion whilst you're starting out, right? So pop down into the comments if you've tried cold calling before and something bad happened, maybe someone hung up at you or someone told you off or something, I don't know, but like, we want to just try and make it like a normal thing to feel like you're failing with cold calling, because that's really the secret. Let's talk about the openers. So first thing, who am I, right? First things first, who am I? My name's Charlie. I built and scaled 2 companies, a marketing agency to 7 figures, which I've sold, and a coaching business to multi 7 figures, which I'm still running, right? Multi 7 figures, pretty cool. With those 2 businesses, I haven't used cold calling for the second one, but I did use cold calling to get the first one off the ground. Cold calling is kind of like, it's not really a great long-term strategy because it requires so much energy from you and you just can't sustain that whilst you're trying to manage like 20, 30 clients. But if you want to sort of begin and also kill 2 birds with 1 stone, which is actually make money and actually learn how to sell, which is kind of the 2 of the same thing, ironically, then you'll do really well. So let's actually talk about the openers, right, of cold calling. Before we do this, there's a couple of rules, right? I've got a good line, right? I've got a line for you that if you use it, you will get so many more meetings with cold calls. I'm going to share it with you in a second. But first things first, the principles, right? So the first thing, by an absolute mile, is tonality, right? You need to sound like you actually wanted to talk to the person you're calling, right? This is important because I've listened to people's cold calls before and they call the person up and they sound like they want to kill themselves, right, talking to the person. And if you sound like you want to kill yourself talking to someone, they're probably not going to be particularly happy about talking to you, right? So what you want to do is, instead of trying to focus on a specific type of tonality, you just want to focus on a specific type of interaction. So you want to imagine that when you're calling them up, right, it's almost like you're calling a long lost friend that used to be your best mate that you would love to talk to again, right? So when you pick up the phone, like, people are usually just like, oh, hi, is John around, please? And they sound like terrified and timid. I'd be like, is John around, mate? Because I haven't seen that man in years, right? That sort of difference in tonality, the best way to bring up the right tone in your voice, or to convince yourself to talk in a certain way, is just to imagine that the interaction you're having is a completely different kettle of fish. So when I used to make cold calls, like before the cold calls, I would convince myself like, right, I'm just going to call 200 long lost friends today. And that would be how I would sort of, my energy would be encapsulated by that sort of idea or that understanding of the interaction. And I found it really helpful. Second thing is, you can use an alias, right? An alias is where you don't use your personal name, right? So if, like, a lot of people are really scared of cold calling because they're afraid of rejection, they don't like the ego taking a hit, which is usually why. But there's a way around this. I used to actually call as a guy called Felix. When I first started, my boss said to me, he's like, Charlie, if it really scares you, just use an alias. So I was like, what's an alias? He was like, it's just use a fake name. So I literally made all my cold calls as Felix. So when someone rejected me, they didn't reject me, they rejected who they thought they were talking to, which was Felix. So it didn't feel like I was being rejected. And it's a great way to just feel more comfortable and calm, because when someone's like, oh, f off Felix, it's like, haha, got you, I'm not Felix. But obviously you wouldn't tell them, but it doesn't really work in the long term. Like, if you're booking the calls into your own calendar, you can just say, oh, the person who does the cold calls sounds very similar to me. He's got basically the same voice. He's a family. You could say anything, right? But I find the alias is a great way to feel more confident. So that's the second sort of rule or principle that I can apply. The third one is obviously just raw, dogged persistence. Basically just being relentless and ruthless. Don't take breaks. So you pick up the phone, you don't, and my day, my first 6 months as an agency owner was literally just ring down, ring down, ring down. And I did that for about 8 hours a day. And I think I signed my first client within about 6 weeks of that, because I didn't really know how to sell. I knew how to call and book appointments, but it took me a while longer to figure out how to sell. That's that. And those are the 3 things that I want you to bear in mind before I actually give you these openers. So what is this opener and how does it work? Well, it revolves around 2 things, curiosity and permission, right? These are 2 really strong weapons in cognitive biases that you can leverage, or they sort of leverage cognitive biases. 2 ideas that you can leverage to massively improve the amount of appointments you can book, not just through cold calling, but other channels as well. So this might apply to other methods. So just lean in, this is really important. So I actually didn't learn, I didn't create this, right? I learned this from a guy called Benjamin, who's a sales trainer. So I'm not gonna pretend this is my brainchild. I wanna be transparent and honest with you, because it would feel wrong to do anything else. So Benjamin basically came up with this idea where, like, you call up the business owner, right? You get through to the business. I'm gonna make another video on how to deal with gatekeepers later on. And what happens is you call them up and you basically say, like, John, I'll be honest with you, this is a sales call. Would you like to hang up now or give me 30 seconds and then decide? This is it's the creme de la creme of cold call openers, because what it does is it completely disarms the prospect and relaxes the conversation. Because when you make the call, you're going to be all tense thinking, oh, I've got to try and sell this person something, and when they answer, they're going to be like, oh, this person's trying to sell me something. But when you just blatantly put it out there, it's like, John, I'm a salesperson and I know you probably hate me, but would you like to hang up now or just give me a few seconds and then decide? So I'm going to break this statement down. So the first line is obviously, John, I'll be honest, this is a sales call. So we do that because it completely disarms the prospect, right? And it makes them feel more calm and relaxed, and it's like there's nothing more sort of like, what would you say, disarming than transparency and honesty. Because when this person picks up the phone, they're in business mode, right? They don't know if it's going to be an angry client. They don't know like who you are. They don't know what you're doing. They're assuming you're probably trying to sell something. So when you just come straight out and you're like, I'm going to be completely honest with you, John, I'm trying to sell you something, they'll probably laugh, right? And when you do this, I've tried this a lot in the UK, it used to be my opening line, I'd get people laughing all the time. So it's a wonderful little way to start, because then they're like, oh, this guy's got nothing to hide, and then you sort of carry it on. So beyond that first part, you say, I'll be honest with you, this is a cold call, would you like to hang up now or give me 30 seconds and then decide? So then what we do is we give them a decision. We're not gonna give them an open-end, it's a closed question, right? Would you like to hang up or would you like to give me 30 seconds? This is a beautiful contrast, because what most people do is they say, they'll do their pitch and they say, I'd like to try and schedule a call with you sometime. How's Thursday next week for you? It's too assumptive, right? And you want to almost bring in the option that you don't want and contrast it to the option that you do want, to make them realize that the option that you do want, which is just getting 30 seconds, is actually probably better for them than the option that you don't want. So, would you like to hang up now or give me 30 seconds and then decide? How do you say no to that, right? Someone's just come in, they've been completely transparent and honest, they've piqued your interest, and then they've also given you the option to leave, but have said that you can leave and decide on whether to hang up or not once they've had 30 seconds. It's a beautiful way to do it. The reason, by the way, you say 30 seconds is because it gives them a concrete idea in their mind of how long you're going to take. Because one of the primary reasons cold calls end or people hang up is because they don't actually know how long you're going to be keeping the person there for them. You're talking to business owners, they're busy people, they haven't got time to waste, right? But when you say, like, I've got 30 seconds, in their mind, it's like, okay, it's just 30 seconds, I might as well see what he's got to say, right? And that's like the best opener I've ever found, ever, because leverages so many different biases and it just works so well. And I've used it so many times to book so many appointments, and it's brilliant. So the second part is obviously, and I won't make a video on this now because, well, I'll split this for another video probably. If you guys want me to make another video on what to say after, then put it in the comments, right? Because the thing after that is you then got to actually have what to say in the 30 seconds, right? Which is the pitch. And if you want me to go through that, and if you guys feel like that would be helpful, you can just comment like saying, yeah, please do that or something, and then I can make a video on it, because I've got a couple of pictures that work really well in conjunction with that first statement. But yeah, that's how I open my cold calls, and that's how I basically get appointments through cold calling. Because the first 10 seconds of a cold call, of your articulated speech, right, the first of you selling them something, The first 10 seconds is all about just getting them to stay on the phone for a little bit longer. People think that in cold calling, like there's different types of things you're trying to sell. So ultimately, on the cold call, if you could, you'd sell your product. But you can't do that on the cold call because, well, the person hasn't got the time and they don't know you, they don't have the trust. So then a lot of people think the philosophy of a cold call is to sell the meeting. But I'm not trying to sell the meeting, I'm just trying to sell 30 seconds, right at the beginning. So if you sell 30 seconds, then you can sell the meeting and then you can sell what you're really selling. But a lot of people just jump straight to the meeting and they're just like, oh, hi, is that John? Okay, oh, hi, John. I run a marketing, and it's just like, oh, you've lost them at that point. You've lost them. The key to pitching is to never, well, you can use the word I, but I'll explain it in another video. If you want me to make another video on how to actually pitch people once you've got their attention, then by all means let me know. But I would encourage you to do this and try this, because when you say to the person, this is a cold call, would you like me to leave, or do you want to give me some like 30 seconds and then decide? It will completely make you feel so much more relaxed and calm on the cold call, because you're no longer going to be like, oh God, I'm trying to sell him something. Oh God, cringe. It doesn't, you just relax. It's like, you know, I do this a lot, right? So I'm going to close this video right now. And one thing I always do at the end of my videos is tell you that there's a link in the description, right? So basically I help established agency owners and coaches and consultants acquire more clients. We don't work with beginners anymore. So if you're a beginner, you just use these videos to get to the point where you're at 6 figures. So we help 6-figure agency owners and coaches and consultants acquire more clients, and these videos for people to get to 6 figures so we can help them, right? So there's nothing to sell you really. But I always say this with the link, I'm like, you can click the link or not, I don't mind, it's up to you, right? And I always say, like, with the link in the description, it's like, it's a funnel. It's designed to sell you something. It's designed to get you to book a discovery call so we can see if you're a potential fit to buy a product so I can make more money. I'm not afraid or ashamed to admit that, right? Because, and you'll notice that I've noticed that my call booking rates on YouTube videos are extremely high. And it's because of that attitude. I'm like, look, in the description, there's a link. If you book it, if you click it, you can use it to book a call. And on that call, we're gonna try and sell you something if we think you're a good fit for what we do. If you don't click it, you don't have to book the call, and you don't have to have the opportunity, that's fine, I don't mind. Either way, you go about your life and you have a good time and you make the decision you think is right for you. Whether you book or not, I don't mind. I'd love for you to book a call because I can then make money from that, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. So it's kind of like, I do that a lot at the end of my videos, you'll notice, especially earlier videos. And I find that just radical transparency of that is like, it works so well because people are so used to just like being manipulated and deceived and like, all 3-hour webinar here, case study funnel here, free training here, ebook here, upsell here. I'm just like, dude, there's a funnel with a call link and a video. It explains what we do. You can use it if you want. If you don't have to, whatever, just keep watching. And it works so fucking well. And the same thing applies to cold calling, right? So that's basically everything for this video. I wanted to record it because I see a lot of people making big mistakes with their cold calling, more specifically with actually the opening line, right? There's other variants of this you can use. You can take the principle of basically like, well, what would you call it? Because it's obviously like, see, this is the thing about these videos is that I kind of get into my thinking mode eventually. It's like, I'll be honest with you, this is a cold call. So there's any sort of like variation you can use there. It's like, I'll be honest with you, John, I'm going to try and sell you something. Or I'll be honest with you, John, I'm coming with a sales pitch. I'll be honest with you, John, this is a very like cold sales call. There's any amount of variations you can take there. And then would you like to give me 30 seconds and then decide? It's like, I'd like to know, would you rather give me 30 seconds or hang up? It's up to you, right? And I would play around with this and find the words that feel most comfortable for you, because otherwise comfort is really confidence, which is sales, right? But if you haven't got that, then you won't have any meetings. So you can try some variations and stuff, but that's that. But anyways, that's everything for today's video. Like I said, there's a link in the description. You can book it. If you don't want to, you don't have to, I don't mind. But it will help you get more clients. It's only for established agency owners, coaches and consultants. So if you want to book it, you can. But that's everything. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. If you want me to make one on how to actually pitch people, right, then you can put that in the comments. And if I get enough comments, then I'll make it. But yeah, have a great day. Talk to you later. Peace out.